Setting min and max prices is the key to use a repricer successfully and to prevent taking a loss or to have items deactivated. There are several methods you can use to set min and max prices, but probably the ROI or return of investment calculation is the best way and safest way to get good results. But which percentage should you choose? Let's try to find out using some real products as examples. Hi, Marco here, and today I want to talk about setting min and max prices using an ROI percentage calculation. This is very important. But before getting into the details, I would like to remind everyone to subscribe to the channel so you will not miss any new episode where we talk about the repricer and the Amazon world in general. So let's get into the details. There are several factors that you need to consider before deciding which ROI percentage to set. Let's go through some of these. The first one is very important, is how you have source the product and how you can still source it, because you might have products that are like replenishable items, so you can constantly source them and you want to have a stable sales and profit from them. Other might be more like a one-off, something that you just find with a very low price, maybe for a clearance or just a big online offer. Another type of product might be just some liquidation, so something that you want to get rid of and you don't really care about the profit. These are very important. The ROI will change depending on this. Another factor could be, in general, the cost of good and the price range. So if the price range is very high, of course, the ROI could be lower because the final profit is still a pretty high number. Another thing to consider is the number of competitors, because of course, stronger competition means there's going to be less wiggle room for your price to move around. And the last one is obviously the product type or category, because depending on the category, of course, there might be more or less profit to be made. For example, electronics, usually they have low profit to be made compared to maybe toys or clothing items. So before checking which ROI percentage you should use, let's talk about what is ROI, the return of investment. Basically, the return of investment is the profit that you can make out of the product when you subtract all the costs divided by the investment you made. So how much you paid, your cost of good. This is obviously a percentage. So if you have purchased a product for $10 and your sales will give you a $10 profit after subtracting all the cost, then you have a ROI of 100%. This is what ROI. So there is no exact answer for which ROI you should set, because they're different products, like what we said before, different factors. But as a rule of thumb, some sellers decided they don't want to have an ROI that is less than 50%. Or maybe some other sellers that decided no matter what, they want at least a $5 profit. Otherwise, it's not worth investing their time in sourcing new product. Other sellers that might be okay with having a lower ROI percentage, like maybe 20%, but only when the items are actually on a high price range. On the opposite side, you might have items that are very low on cost. Maybe it's food items and you only pay 10 or 20 cents for each item. So even when you sell on a 400 or 500% ROI, you might still get a total profit of maybe $1 or less than $1. In that case, you should really consider if it's worth your time for that kind of profit. So now let's try to check some examples, some real products, to see how ROI can change depending on the product. The first product I want to use, for example, is this Nike socks. Nike socks can be considered a replenishable item because it's is fast selling and it's easy to source it over and over again. Let's say that you can source this socks for a cost of $12. If we check the offer page right now, we can see that the buy box is at $28.99 and there are 11 sellers also selling this product. And we can see that the sellers are all around the $27 to $29 range. So this means that this product, it doesn't have much fluctuation. It's a very stable price. If we go to Repricing Central and check an ROI calculation using, for example, 27 as a min price, we see that right now it's selling around 28. So even if it goes down to 27 or 26, it's still an acceptable price. And when we input all the information, so the product cost of 12, maybe an additional cost of 0.5, like just 50 cents, and we calculate, then the software is going to calculate all the fees automatically. And it tells us that we have an ROI of around 55%. This is definitely a good ROI. And it also means that even if we set our main price a bit lower, maybe around $25, we're still going to have an acceptable ROI, especially because this is a fast selling product. So we're going to get a lot of profit out of it. The max price obviously can be set higher. Remember not to set it too high, otherwise there's still going to be the chance that Amazon thinks it's too high and they're going to delist you. But definitely on this product we can get an ROI that goes around 100% as a max price. That could be a good percentage. So something between 30% min ROI and 100% max. This could be good for this kind of product. If you want to check another product, this doll from Project MC2, this doll, it could be more one-off clearance or very good offer that we found online. So maybe this could be just something that we want to sell as quick as possible to get our like as much profit as possible. If we check this page, we can see that right now the buy box is at $58, very high. The reason for this is that on this offer, there's only 3 other sellers. One of them is Amazon itself that has it at 41, but is back order and it's gonna take around a month to get it back. So this is that one of these these products where we want to sell as fast as possible and we want to make as much profit as possible. So if we go back to Repricing Central and calculate the ROI, we can see that if we input 58, that is the current price right now, and the product cost of 18, that could be an acceptable cost for us to purchase as an offer. We add maybe an additional cost of $1. It's maybe your inbound shipping. If we calculate, we can see that the ROI is high, is over 100%, around 130. So this is a very high ROI percentage. And our final profit is more than $25. So it means that this is the best case scenario. This is how much profit we can make with just one single purchase. But which min price should we set? If we go back to the product page, we can see that Amazon is gonna come back to this listing at $41. So we can consider $41 as our min price, the worst case scenario to sell this. And if we calculate the ROI when we put $41, we can still see that the ROI is around 60%. It's still a very high ROI. So it means that this product, no matter what, is gonna sell on a high ROI, and we can get rid of it as soon as possible before Amazon comes back in, or maybe other sellers, they find this good opportunity. So once you have decided which ROI to set for some of your listing, of course, the best will be to set it individually for each listing, but sometimes we know it's not possible. We have too many products. So what you can do, you can group some listings together that have similar factors, like we mentioned before. Some could be the replenishable on the same price range, for example, like all Nike product with similar price ranges. And then what you can do is you can set the same ROI for all the listings in that group. How do you do that? You can come to Manage Listing and go to Bulk Actions, Set Min Max Price and Rule. And in here, you can choose to apply this instead of just selected listing to a group. You choose which group, for example, replens. And then you can turn the Set Min Price on, choose ROI, and set it in here. For example, yes, a 50% ROI. Maybe depending on the product, might be even as low as 30% or 20%. You can do the same for the max price. And then by the end, you just save. The software will process the same ROI calculation for all the listings in the same group. This concludes today's video. Remember to like and subscribe. And if you have any question, just leave a comment in the section below. See you next time.